that the agenda is set by Sejal and I simply follow it up. So, keeping up the tradition. Yes, today's thought of the day is, I would say, very, very powerful and very, very relatable. And going back the memory lane, just imagine, you were back in school or college, and there were two teachers in your school, or let's say college. One walks in, slams book on the desk, shouts for silence, and threatens detention. The class goes quiet. But the moment they leave, chaos erupts. Now let's imagine the other one. Walks in calmly, says nothing for a few seconds, just looks around with steady eyes. The room settles not out of fear, but out of respect. When they speak, even the backbenchers lean in to listen. What's the difference? It's not volume, it's not aggression, it's not even the designation on their door. It's something far more powerful, yet incredibly subtle. So today, we're exploring the power of gentle authority. And here's a metaphor that captures everything we'll discuss today. True authority is like water, soft in presence, yet capable of shaping stone. I repeat, true authority is like water, soft in presence, yet capable of shaping stones. Think about that. Water doesn't shout, it doesn't force, it doesn't demand attention. Yet, over time, the gentlest stream carves through the hardest rock. And that's gentle authority, quiet, consistent, and undeniable. Actually, we have been taught a lie. We have been told that authority means being the loudest voice in the room, that power means intimidation, and that leadership requires dominance. So, what happens? Parents think that they need to yell to be heard. Managers think they need to micromanage to be respected. Teenagers think they need to be aggressive to be taken seriously. And we all end up exhausted, in constant battle mode, wondering why nobody actually listens. But here's the truth: authority doesn't mean dominance, it means confidence with calm. So let me paint you two scenarios. And I want you to honestly tell yourself which person has more authority. Scenario number one, of course, the Indian household. We all are Indians. Let's talk about parent A. मैंने तुमसे कहा था ना फोन रख दो, तुम्हें कुछ समझ नहीं आता, हमेशा फोन में घुसे रहते हो, कल से फोन कॉन्फिस्केट, शाउटिंग, फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग, थ्रेटनिंग, है ना? ये सेंटेंसेस बहुत बार हो सकता है बोले भी हो. And then parent B. Sit down calmly, makes eye contact. I've noticed you've been on the phone during study hours. Let's talk about screen time boundaries. What do you think is fair? Calm, clear, collaborative. So, who has more authority? Who's more likely to be heard? Not just obeyed out of fear, but genuinely respected. Let's talk about scenario two, our office. Manager one. The report is completely wrong. How many times do I have to tell you? You people never learn. Do it again now. Loud, condescending, aggressive. Manager B, I see some gaps in the report. Let's go through it together. Help me understand your thought process, and then I'll share what needs to change. Firm, respectful, solution based. Now, which manager would you actually want to improve for? And which one inspires loyalty versus resentment? The answer is obvious. Gentle authority wins every single time. So, what exactly is gentle authority made of? Let's break it down. 1. Confidence without arrogance. Yes, you know your worth. So, you don't need to prove it by putting others down. Think of MS Dhoni. On the cricket field, he barely raises his voice. No dramatic celebrations, no chest thumping, just a calm nod, a quiet word to his bowler, a strategic field change. Yet his authority is unquestionable. Why? Because confidence doesn't scream, it simply is. Number two, firmness without cruelty. Being gentle doesn't mean being a doormat. You can hold boundaries without being harsh. Example, your friend constantly borrows money and forgets to return it. Now, a weak response could be you say nothing, keep lending, and resent them silently. It's very similar to doing work for anybody for free and then being resentful yourself. An aggressive response, you're so irresponsible. I'm never lending you money again. Of course, you don't do that with friends. But what is gentle authority? I care about our friendship, which is why I need to be honest. I'm not comfortable lending money anymore. I hope you understand. See the difference? Firm boundary, kind delivery, no apology, but no attack either. Then, number three, empathy without ego. The most respected people lead with empathy, not ego. So when someone makes a mistake, gentle authority asks, what happened? How can we fix this? Instead of, how could you mess this up? So it's that principal who, instead of just pushing or punishing a student who bunked class, sits them down and asks, what's going on? Is everything okay home? That's leadership. And it's that parent who, when their teenager comes home past curfew, doesn't immediately erupt, but says, I was worried. Let's talk about this. And that's authority with heart. And number four, speaking softly and standing firmly. So here's the paradox: the softer your voice, the more powerful your message if you stand firmly in your truth. I know someone, a soft spoken woman named Meera, a team leader in an IT company. She never raises a voice. In meetings, while others are shouting over each other, she waits. And then, in a calm, measured tone, she speaks. And suddenly everyone listens because her words carry weight, not volume. Yes, weight. And why? Because she's consistent. She says what she means and means what she says. Her no means no. Her yes means yes. And there's no manipulation, no games, no hidden agendas, just truth delivered gently. And let's talk about teenagers, and this is especially for you. You might think you need to be loud, aggressive, or cool to have influence. You might think that being kind makes you weak. That's so wrong. The most influential person in your friend circle isn't the one who bullies or mock others. It's the one who's kind but doesn't take nonsense. The one who stands up for the quiet kid being teased, not by fighting, but by calmly saying, that's not cool. Stop. And that's gentle authority. And trust me, people remember that person. Years later, when everyone forgets who was the loudest, they remember who made them feel safe. But why this gentle authority works every time? There's a science behind it. When someone yells at you, your brain goes into fight or flight mode. You stop listening. You either shut down or fight back. Nothing productive happens. But when someone speaks to you calmly, even if they're delivering tough feedback, your brain stays engaged. You can actually hear them. You can process. You can respond thoughtfully. Gentle authority creates psychological safety. And in that safety, people grow. They take responsibility. They rise to meet your expectations. Not because they are scared, but because they don't want to disappoint someone who respects them. So, gentle authority is not about being soft and spineless. It's about blending two seemingly opposite qualities, firmness and kindness. So it's the doctor who tells you you need to lose weight or your health will suffer, but then sits with you to create a realistic plan. It's the teacher who says the assignment doesn't meet the standard but offers extra help after class. It's the friend who says, I can't be around you when you are drunk, but adds, I'm here for you when you're ready to talk about what's really going on. So many of us grew up with the authoritarian parenting or teaching. Because I said so was the final answer. We learned that authority equals power over people. But gentle authority is power with people. It's collaborative, not combative. And here's the beautiful part, you can be the one who breaks that cycle, our generational cycle, that being authoritative is being loud. Many a times our parents did that. So you can be the parent, the leader, the friend, the colleague who shows that you don't need to dominate to lead. You don't need to shout to be heard. So here's where theory meets practice. Let's have the assertive kindness challenge. So today I want you to try something. Just once, in one situation, practice what I call assertive kindness. This means speak your truth calmly instead of suppressing it or overreacting. So, here are some examples to get you started. For teenagers, let's say your friend makes plans without asking you, then expects you to cancel yours. So, instead of sulking or snapping, try saying, Hey, I would have loved to join, but next time. Let's check with each other first before making plans. And for adults, your colleague keeps dumping last minute work on you. Many times you would have experienced this. So instead of silently resenting them or exploding, try saying, I want to help, but I need more notice to manage my workload. Can we plan this better next time? And then for parents, your child isn't listening. So instead of yelling or giving up, try, pause, kneel down to their level, make eye contact, and say, I need you to listen to me right now. And this is important. The key is calm tone, clear words, firm boundary, and kind delivery. And here's what I want you to do, observe what happens. Watch how the dynamics shifts. Notice how people respond differently when you are not attacking or retreating, but simply standing in your truth with grace. Write it down if you can. What situation did you choose? How did you feel? How did they respond? What did you learn about yourself? And here's a beautiful thought. Remember this, true authority is like water. We began with that metaphor. Soft in presence, yet capable of shaping stone. So you don't need to be harsh to be heard. You don't need to dominate to be respected. You don't need to shout to look powerful. The gentlest voice anchored in truth and kindness, can command a room. And when you master gentle authority, something magical happens. People don't follow you because they have to, they follow you because they want to, because being around you feels safe, because your leadership doesn't drain them, it elevates them. So, starting today, be like water, soft, steady, and unstoppable. Practice gentle authority in your home, your workplace, your friendships, your family. Speak softly, stand firmly, lead with empathy, not ego, and watch how the world responds when strength wears the face of kindness. So, you can go out and be the calm in someone else's storm. So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.